that good, Jake?
Jake, you're forgetting to hold one nostril.
I mean,
you're losing airflow.
It's just. Welcome to Beer Protocol.
Please tell me you're recording. Yes.
Ow, that hurt.
Fuck yes.
So happy. Oh, so glad we caught that for everyone to see. Just you
that wasn't even my turn this time. I'm so happy now.
So what are we talking about today, James?
Oh, we're talking about how much of an idiot you are.
Yeah, why did you listen to me? You know I'm a
for
fool.
people on the podcast, Jake decided just to mainline a freaking beer.
Yeah.
So welcome to BeerThralls presents Beer Protocol.
This is a lovely Bold Rock hard cider.
Yeah, it's cider pintos. All right. Oh my God. I'm James.
You're gonna smell that for an hour.
Oh my God. For days, you're just gonna be like, oh, cider APA.
Why do I smell hops? Who's brewing?
I'm James. I'm drinking a rum runner.
This is Jacob. I am enjoying a Bold Rock dry hopped cider, which they call it IPA.
Are you?
Orally.
I only have some liquid in my eyes right now. It's fine.
I am drinking the Isaac Bozeman Pioneer Spirit.
Ooh.
It is good.
That's some nice.
There's less of it than the last time I saw it.
So, gentlemen, Tink.
I mean, Tink doesn't mean I'm not drinking it.
Tink.
It's delicious.
So we had a request to talk about Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch.
Ooh, I'll pull that card up so I know what we're talking about.
So we gonna do it.
Oh, it's the wall of text that she is.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Okay.
Sinister was harder to understand.
She is a 5-threat character, which means, as she should, she's the Scarlet Witch, she's going to dominate the battlefield.
She's going to slap other models around. Does not mean she'll necessarily be better in every situation than your humble 3 or 4 threat models, but we have high expectations for any 5 and 6 threat model.
She's 6 health, medium move, and a 2 height character. So kind of typical for a 5 threat. She's got some really interesting defenses. She's 3 physical, but 4 energy and 4 psychic, which is
that makes sense.
Pretty tanky for. I would expect the Scarlet Witch to be less tanky than that, but okay.
I would expect this baseline tanky. I would expect this baseline sturdiness for any 5-threat character. So while you're right, Wanda Maximoff may have in this art, at least on her card, may have more thigh than torso. She does, in fact, still a 5-threat character, and is at least a little beefy.
Yeah. Okay. So she's one of the few characters that has, for her attacks, it's not physical, they're actually psychic. The first one being Hex Bolt. It's a range 4, 6 dice, 0 cost. At the end of this attack, you get power equal to damage dealt. Pretty much a standard builder, but chaos magic. After this attack resolved, for each, what is that? Skull? In the attack roll, the target character gains one of the following conditions: bleed, hex, incinerate, or poison. And that's
your choice.
Awesome.
Your choice, yeah. Full stop. We can stop here for a moment. This attack by itself is a 5-threat character attack. And I think you would be completely justified in just using this builder and her superpowers.
Oh god, yeah.
This is an incredible builder. It hits like a truck. It's a mystic defense, which is still statistically the least common good defense type. It's getting more and more common release-wise. Like the current releases are coming out with higher and higher mystic defenses, simply because we're getting more magically themed characters. But you throw this against almost anyone from like the core of the game, its first year of releases, there's not a lot of good mystical defenses anywhere in that bunch. So there's a large portion of the field that this is very effective against.
It uses the thing that we all hate to see. It uses skulls.
Dice?
Dice, yeah. We'll talk about it right now, because it's going to get relevant. Scarlet Witch has a passive ability, Chosen of Cthon. When attacking, defending, or dodging, she adds skulls to her successes.
Yay, chaos.
Now, notably, she cannot re-roll skulls. That
Correct.
rule is still in effect. However, she
Why would
probably
you
wouldn't
want
want to.
I don't think there's any powers that change things to skulls. There's things that change it to blanks,
What?
but I don't think you can. Can you change a skull to a blank?
As a side consequence, I don't believe there's any ability or pierce effect that changes a skull to a blank. Um,
So
I
screw you,
think
dice manipulation?
the closest I can think of is there's at least one defensive ability someone has out there that'll penalize you for rolling exclamations, getting crits.
That is true.
But as far as I know, no one punishes you for rolling skulls because that's enough of a punishment on its own.
Dang.
However, Scarlet Witch is just like lol random chaos.
Yeah.
So is skull more common or more effective than wild? I'd actually have to check the die facings. Skull is only one of the 8 sides, so on 6 dice, you're expecting maybe 1 skull in each attack.
Yeah.
She has no rerolls.
For
Yeah,
builder
she has
with
no rerolls innately, so she's just looking at whatever dice she gets, with certain affiliations or other abilities giving her rerolls and thus increasing the odds of her hitting those skulls. This can get silly very quickly.
I mean, I think as a builder itself, it's an amazing attack. The chaos magic is just like is hot fudge on top of the ice cream. It's still good. So Jake, what is Cruel Twist?
Cruel Twist is a range 3, 8 dice spender that costs 6 power. So already I'm like, let's see the text. The defending character does not add critical results in its defense roll to its total successes and cannot add additional dice to its defense roll as a result of crits. Then finally, Reality Contortion. With when she rolls a skull, change one of the defending characters' crits, hits, or defends. Lean in, that might be a wild. Wild, defend, no, or crit results to a blank.
I like her builder
So,
better.
I mean, that's fair. Now,
I mean,
Cruel Twist is going to hit hard because it takes away one of the successes that would normally be used. It has Pierce as an alternate version of Pierce. What's worth noting is I think almost all of the abilities that count blanks and total defenses are against physical or energy, not mystic.
yeah.
Fair.
So even Captain America's adamantium shield or Panther's vibranium armor do not count these blanks as defense.
So
this it's just going to hit hard. It's expensive. It's going to hit hard.
this is my take on it. Don't use it. It's 6 energy to use. You're only throwing 2 more dice at 1 less range than your Hex Bolt. And there's no conditions. You don't get to extra dice from... Now, if it would be able to explode on the crits, absolutely. But it's not exploding on crits.
No,
What?
it is. No,
No,
defenders can't use for their crits. We can.
Oh, I read that wrong. Okay, anyway.
James, that's a big difference, James.
That is a huge difference.
Would you like to reconsider your opinion, James?
I still don't like it. I think you can use that power for 6 power. I can throw 2 size 4 things at somebody.
One turn.
But
well, okay, I can throw in 1 turn. I can throw something. I can also do curse. I'd rather do those 2 things than do Cruel Twist, because I know I'm guaranteed. If I have a size 4 within distance, I'm guaranteed to have 5 damage hit the person. Now, whether they spike their roll or not in defense, I mean, that's something different. But I'd rather throw the size 4 than do Cruel Twist.
So I'm going to counter your logic a little bit, as is my want. I'm going to try to recenter myself in my own camera there for a second. Follow me.
Okay.
Damn it. So what I'm going to remind you is that Switch gets to count skulls. So what symbols are there on the die? Hit, shield, crit, wild, skull, blank.
Yes.
Which only misses on an attack on shields or blank. Everything else is a success.
I mean, yes.
So are you really certain you're not going to get 5 of those dice to hit? When you've taken away one of the enemy's defensive symbols?
But
it's just for me,
okay.
it's just the 2 more dice. It's not that much more. It's a shorter distance,
I
and
mean,
I don't have to put the condition.
I'm telling you guys, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, and it is expensive for what it does, but this attack slaps.
But I can
this
throw
is going to be
something-
dropping figures from full to dazed or KO'd in one go.
But I can throw something. I can do 2 Hex Blasts. So technically, I'm throwing 6 times 2 dice at you. And yes, I said 6 times 2 instead of 12 because I'm not throwing 12 dice at you.
You did.
I'm throwing 2 sets of 6 at you. So I can go ahead and just do. Okay, so let's talk about curse real quick, because we're going to debate this. Curse when this character is damaged by an enemy effect, after the effect is resolved, you may use the superpower. The attacking character gains judgment.
As a reminder, judgment means that they do not gain power when damaged by enemy effects.
Yes. So, and then telekinesis. Choose an interactive terrain feature of size 4.
Suck it, Ronan.
Thank God. Size 4 or less within 3. Throw it medium. It can only be used once per turn. Okay.
This is good. Interactive terrain, size 4 or less within 3. It costs 3, which is expensive for a throw, but it's good.
I mean,
but it's also really big.
You should be getting 3 off of a basic Hex Blast. I would rather have the power to do Hex Blast and see if I can get a Incinerate or a Hex on them or Poison on them or Bleed on them, and then do. If I don't, try again with another Hex Blast and then throw a piece of terrain at them. I'd rather have that with the curse in my back pocket.
All of that is fair. So what I'll say is curse has no range, which is very nice. Eventually, you will run out of things to curse because judgment is a good status effect, which means it's annoying, but it's not so critical that your opponent will stop what they're doing to get rid of it.
Will it? I mean, okay. So once again, judgment says you get no power from being damaged. So I can say right now, Cabal will hate this. Anything that is going to require a ton of power is going to hate this. Black Order is not going to like that.
Is it worth not walking up to the point or not attacking to throw someone off the point to use an action?
It might be if you hit Red Skull. I mean, I might be like...
Red Skull shouldn't be getting hit in the first place. Remember, this only prevents you from getting power from enemy effects. It doesn't shut off Red Skull's internal power generation.
Yeah, but I was still... I mean, it's nice having Red Skull get hit, like, a little bit.
Red Skull, the character with an entire ability based around not letting him get hit.
Listen, Hail Hydra is amazing, but every once in a while, there's no one around.
That just sounds like poor planning on Red Skull's part.
I have been there with somebody going, no, I'll attack this character first. Okay, cool. I pushed that character.
Hey, was it me? That sounds like something I would do.
It was just something you do, and then you attacked Red Skull, and I was like, Hail Hydra to no one.
So I agree with you guys that 6 is expensive for a spender, but it is a slapping spender, and you will eventually have just 6 power and debating what to do with it. Like, if she flips, am I going to not spend 6? No, I'm going to slap something into oblivion. Or, perfect world, I throw something for 3, I get enough off of Hex Bolt to pay for Cruel Twist, and then I've probably thrown a Chunky Boy, knock someone out, Cruel Twist to slap someone into oblivion, and there's 2 models down before breakfast.
I'm not
or lunch or dinner.
I'm not disagreeing that I wouldn't use it. It's just I feel like that's more of the back pocket. I got nothing else to do. I feel like you could do so much more, especially because we haven't talked about it, Hexfield, that your enemy character is performing a shake action within 3 of this character may not remove Hex, Judgment, or Poison. So if you're already going to be there, I'd rather spend most of my time going, hey, you, fuck off. Hey, you, fuck off. Hey, you, fuck off. And just spreading around conditions and going, you can't shake it, or you have to get way the hell away from these points.
God, her with Guardians of the Galaxy, with Guardian Galaxy just passing out status conditions like crazy.
Which is, I think, one of the few characters I would be like, Guardian's leadership ability is good, guys. I'll burn a tactic card to give her 3 rerolls this round.
God, she would just stand there in the middle of everyone, just be like, so who has Hex? Who has Hex? Are you gonna shake it? You're gonna shake it? Cool. Have fun with that.
Yeah. Oh, and she also has flight. We didn't mention that.
She has flight. As it turns out, we can go back to discussing her and debating because her injured side is identical to her healthy side.
Yeah, let me
Neat.
show that real quick.
Ta-da.
Da-da. And she has flight. Yeah.
So the other situation I'll point out is if an enemy already has those status conditions, or if an enemy is about to flip, or if your opponent's investing a lot in making certain a character doesn't flip, because all characters recover all status conditions when they do flip, adding more status conditions onto an enemy who's about to flip is not as helpful.
That is correct. Yes, I agree with that. Like if you're like, I'm passing out status conditions like crazy, and then you just accidentally flip them, you just kind of wasted it.
Now, granted, you're still up because you dazed or KO'd a character. So again, I think if I was near 6 on my turn, I'd try to look for an opportunity to Hex Bolt and then turn around and Cruel Twist in the same turn. If not, then I probably have enough power to telekinesis and throw something and still do good chunks of damage.
I mean, I'm sad that it's just interactive terrain features,
not characters.
I would have loved to be able to pick up characters and throw characters with her.
I think that might have been too strong.
My nose hurts.
That would have. I wonder why. How was Scar facing the beer? Pretty good.
So, okay.
Let's talk about our next favorite topic for these characters, and then we'll go back to debating things endlessly about her.
Okay.
Tactics cards.
What's our tactic cards?
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
So Scarlet Witch is on the 3 different tactics cards.
That's good.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of potential. They do like their 5 threat characters, and I feel like being the lead character of WandaVision might have had something to do with it.
But please tell me she has one with vision.
Oh, that would be nice. She doesn't.
Oh.
Okay, so we'll discuss the first one to get out of the way. Difficult to please. This is such a narrow card.
Oh no, this card's terrible card.
Difficult to please. First off, you need Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Magneto.
Yeah.
In the same list on the table for this to even be possible. If an allied Scarlet Witch has dazed or KO'd an enemy this round, and an allied Quicksilver has interacted with or picked up an objective token this round, Magneto can play this card. You may remove an activated marker from Magneto. It costs Magneto nothing to play. You just have to meet all the conditions. So giving Magneto a 6 threat character 2 turns in a single round at 0 cost for just playing these characters the way you would normally, I would take it and threaten it a lot.
Hold on though. Magneto's 6, Scarlet Witch is 5. How much is Quicksilver? He's a
3.
He's a 3.
So 14 points.
So if you pull your 14-point card, you literally can play the family.
Here's the thing, though. I'm not sure that's a bad team at 14 threat.
Yeah,
Quicksilver is an objective monster. Magneto's a monster. And Scarlet Witch will slap anything into oblivion.
Yeah, it's an absolute witch. I mean, that actually sounds pretty good. You have your objective runner, you have your point sitter, and you have your bully, all in 3 models, and one of them can maybe go again.
Do you hate painting? Do you want to run as minimum models as you possibly can? Well, we've got a list for you.
I mean, I will be honest. I heard Jake tell me about that, and I went, I hate painting, and I don't want to buy that many models for this game.
Also,
100%.
Think of it this way. Magneto has his pylons out. Scarlet Witch says, those are nice. Chucks one at somebody. That's called synergy.
Yeah, and then Magneto activates again and goes, hey, look, there's a pylon.
Look, do you guys remember BDT, Big Dick Thor?
Yep.
Yes.
That was more expensive.
Yeah.
By a point. And it was still just like, oh, I have to be scared now. Now, are you going to pull this off turn 1 like you can with BDT? No, probably not.
No.
But can you imagine
I don't know.
BDT
Cruel
giving
twist.
Hulk 2 activations?
God damn, that Hulk to 2 activations. Oh my god. So
And I'll point out, I think Quicksilver actually has an energy attack. Magneto has all physical, and Scarlet
She's
Witch
all
has all
metal.
mystic. You can hit all defense types and just poke holes in your opponent with 3 heavy hitting models.
I want you to play this. I want you to come out
Against
Thursday.
you?
I want you to come out Thursday and bring Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver.
Fine. Deal. I'll do it. How's that?
Don't threaten me with a good time. Quicksilver has all physical attacks. Okay,
So-
Scarlet, moving on. I think that would be a silly thing to do. I don't know if it's good.
Totally silly.
But it's scary.
It's terrifying being like, oh, well, I mean, I don't think it's that terrifying. But anyway, having
I will
Magneto
show you how terrifying it is.
How Magneto going twice is kind of a
You over there with Cosmic Invigoration for how much power?
Hey. You leave
Whereas
Red Skull out of this.
With my family of superpowered mutants, just have to play my game.
Fine. All right, what's the next card?
No more mutants. When an enemy character, I have to lean in because this text is real tiny. I don't want to make mistakes like I did last week, which we'll come to. I made big mistakes with our last card last week.
I know what you're talking about.
When an enemy character within 5 of an allied Scarlet Witch spends 1 or more power to use a active or reactive superpower, Scarlet Witch may spend 3 power to play No More Mutants. The enemy superpower has no effect and cannot be used again for the rest of this turn, but the enemy character still spends the power and is considered to have used the superpower.
Yep.
So it's like Shush from Black Mamba or whatever he is.
It's a deadly snake.
Look, I know who Ebony Maw is, but I don't have to respect him.
You do actually.
Actually, I want to look up Shush and see if they actually did make any differences.
I mean, that's also, it's good. And she's going to be, if you're going to be using her as, oh, I'm sorry. What? Okay, so if
he spent the power.
If you're going to be using this if you're going to be having her within 3 of a lot of stuff, it's a good card to have around.
It's within 5.
I know, but she's going to be within 3 of a lot of things, and so you're definitely going to have something within range.
I mean, it's good. Like we thought was good on Maw, and I think Scarlet is the same cost, and it's essentially giving you the same option outside of a Black Order list. Yeah. It's worth mentioning Scarlet Witch is on 4 affiliations.
Yeah.
So if anything, this just puts Counterspell into the meta in a lot more possible places. I don't know if I would take it, because her last card, the Whims of Chaos, is way better than we thought it was last week, and I was already taking it over No More Mutants.
Yeah, thank you for correcting us on this.
Yeah, thank you to the community for pointing out that I had misread the card. I've given it another reading, and I was extremely wrong. So, the Whims of Chaos. Scarlet Witch may spend any number of power to play this card. Choose 1 non-dazed character within range 3 of Scarlet Witch for each power spent. If that character is an ally, they heal 1 damage or 1 special condition. If they're an enemy, they gain a special condition, Hex, Root, or Incinerate of your choice.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Which you'll be taking Hex because they can't remove it, so...
Yes. Hex, although the ability to, as a tactic card, slap on Incinerate to a large portion of your opponent's list, with no wilds being necessary, and then just say, all right, cool, War Machine, I think you were next.
Just, nuke him. Just nuke him.
So, fun fact.
Wait. Why do we even talk about that? Scarlet Witch is just like, no, I got this. I'll nuke him, don't worry.
Well, so what I'll point out real quick is this is an active card, but it does not have to be Scarlet Witch's activation.
Ooh.
Scarlet could literally just be standing there and be like, oh, hey, was someone going to come up with an AoE? Cool. Incinerate. Resume with your AoE.
I found something else I'd rather spend 6 power on.
Actually, yes, 100%. I think you spend your power on a big use of Whims of Chaos first, and then move on to the rest of her kit.
I don't like this one against my syndicate list because I like clumping things up instead of control points.
Yeah, no, you do that with
Mm.
her, and then you just send Deadpool in there to go have a dance party.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Or it's
Dead
Deadpool's turn
enemy team.
already.
Yeah, dead enemy team. Good
Or
mod.
if you're doing something insane, you have Carnage nearby.
It's even worse.
It's the fact that this is both cheap and extremely usable in a lot of situations, because even if you don't have enemies that you want to incinerate or hex, you can still heal damage or status conditions off your own team.
I actually like the idea of bringing Carnage with Scarlet Witch doing that card.
Now, I would need to double check. Again, there's always certain rules clarifications I can't keep straight in my head, whether or not Scarlet Witch could pick herself with this card.
Well, what did it say again?
Choose one non-dazed character within range 3 of Scarlet Witch. Is Scarlet Witch within...
She's within range 3 of herself.
Yeah. So, but there are some conditions which are debilitating. Spending 1 power off of Scarlet Witch to recover something like Stagger or the aforementioned Judgment is super useful. Even like Bleed, where if that damage is going to be enough to tip you over.
Yeah, yeah. Bleed and Stagger are probably the best ones to get removed.
Yeah, 100%. I think Whims of Chaos is an auto-include tactic card if you take Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
All right, so I think we've covered pretty much the basics. Now, is she better than other equivalent 4 or even 5 threat models?
Yes.
I think she's really good, but I do think Scarlet Witch is very much a damage output character. She's pretty point and click. She doesn't have a ton of super sketchy things going on. Like Angela, for example, is also 5, but has her assassin with high mobility and bouncing around, as well as her defensive attack that makes her hard to hurt and also means you can't move past her. So Scarlet Witch doesn't really bring any scenario play other than her hex field, paying attention to when things are within. But like I said earlier, on attack, anything except blanks or shields is a success for Scarlet Witch's attacks.
Is she better than MODOK?
I don't like MODOK, so I'll say yes.
MODOK has a baller defensive ability. Scarlet Witch has solid defenses, but she also has no innate rerolls. Now, she does get to use skulls on her defense as well. So she does have one more. Again, just having skulls as a valid symbol means that I think her dice math is slightly skewed in a positive direction on most things she does.
Because I'm thinking about adding her to my Cabal list and removing MODOK from the 5-point slot.
Speaking of list affiliations, Scarlet Witch has 4, so she will probably find room in lots of lists. She has A-Force, Avengers, Brotherhood, and Defenders.
Yep.
As we talked about last week, Avengers and Defenders was the combined list we had. Defenders, actually, I'm kind of interested in playing Defenders again, because it was already a solid start with Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, Wolverine, a few others, but now with like Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Scarlet Witch, I think someone pointed out Valkyrie is also in Defenders in our comments. That's actually a pretty broad and capable list.
I mean, she fits pretty much anywhere. I mean, Black Order, because Black Order is a weird affiliation. She might fit a little bit into it, but you've already got so many high point characters and so many hard hitters. I think she fits more into a list where you have strangely enough, like Spider Friends, because you need if you need a heavy hitter to go in there and do some damage. Spider Friends doesn't really have that. You've got Carnage, but Carnage is kind of a short range. I would probably bring Scarlet Witch into
not a web
not
warrior.
Carnage,
I'm pretty
not
sure.
Carnage.
Venom.
I mean, I'd put her in Spider Foes.
I'm definitely gonna put her in Spider Foes.
Well, it's interesting too, because not having a ton of special gimmicks or other than just hitting really hard at good range, she could go in most things. turns out almost all lists appreciate someone who can hit really hard.
Well,
I mean,
yes, but at the same time, I probably wouldn't put her in a criminal syndicate list. While it's nice that she's high defenses, I want more bodies. It doesn't really kind of fit the playstyle of criminal
That's fair.
syndicate.
no, you want to put her with spider foes.
Yeah, Spider Foes where she gets the free from Goblin. She gets like a
Yeah.
free reroll.
Yeah.
So I have an important question. In the comments in our last video talking about the Avengers wide list, someone using the BeerThralls account said we should swap out Scarlet Witch for Viper.
James. I'm sorry,
James,
what?
I want to say this as politely as I can.
Why?
What the hell?
Because she's fast, she's got a teleport, and she passes out poison. And she's a
And-
3-pointer.
But I also don't care.
Well, yeah,
and-
but I think
My list, James. Stay away from my list.
But we have Quicksilver that does basically the same thing,
I-
but
Yeah,
you
she also got stealth.
teleport.
she's also
In
got
a more
stealth.
serious rebuttal, Viper would be interesting with the Avengers wide list, but I also wanted to maintain the mobility of Avengers Assemble as much as I could.
Yes,
I
agree with
definitely
that.
wouldn't take out Scarlet Witch for Viper. I would take out any of my other threes because the hard hittingness of Scarlet Witch is specifically what I wanted. Was I wanted to have a higher threat model for in a higher threat game that could slap down almost any model in the game.
She definitely does that. I do like the fact that there's no good range against her. So, most characters, it's like, okay, cool. If you stay outside of
4.
like range 4, like if you stay outside of range 4 or outside range 3 of like say Kingpin, you're pretty much in a good distance from him retaliating. Scarlet Witch, she's if you're outside of range 4, you might be a little safe.
Effective.
But
you're not being effective. Most attacks are range 3 or less.
I would actually say Hawkeye might be able to bully Scarlet Witch. Hawkeye has his range 5 dice attack that hits decently hard against her weak damage type, or against her weaker defense.
Mm-hmm.
And he can inflict status conditions, and he can use his short range teleport to drop down behind the building he was standing in.
Definitely robbing her of power is a great way of kind of neutering her a little bit.
Right, 'cause she doesn't have any increased power generation during power phase, so she's reliant on her builder and on getting hit to get power for her many things she can do with it.
Yeah, stunning her would be a good idea. Maybe even hitting her with poison might be good. It's something to kind of just drain a little bit off of her every single turn. Putting bleed on her is probably a really good thing to do because you want to have her in a bad position of, if I don't take care of this now, I'm going to start like just ticking myself off, and eventually I'll just fall over because, I mean, 6, while it's still a lot, it's one of those, it's you find yourself going, oh, I'm at 6, it's fine, and then next thing you know, you're a bleed and sitting on 1. So I think putting bleed on her would be a good idea too. Just it's really hard to say what can go against her, but anything that's super like, God, strangely enough, Winter Soldier, she does have a 3 physical defense, and he's got a really long range. Just shoot her down.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that her counterplay of Judgment doesn't really bother Hawkeye or Winter Soldier all that much. Because they're usually playing hard to get anyway. So them not getting power isn't as big a deal as, say, your frontline tank or your heavy hitter not getting power.
So that's Scarlet Witch. I mean, she's definitely a powerhouse, but I think she's also kind of a small trap. I think that you need to see where she fits in your list and what role she's going to play. You need to really watch and see where you want her. She will be a target on the battlefield.
That's why you bring Magneto and Quicksilver. That way you have 3 targets on the battlefield.
That's your entire list.
Is that wrong?
It is why I play against
What
it.
if at 16th threat you brought Wong? So
Yeah.
he could just feed Magneto or Witch more power.
You know, if you keep making
bought
these comments,
or bring a Shuri or the bodyguard one, and Scarlet Witch keeps going like this.
God, having Shuri just taking damage from her for her. But
Okoye?
why?
Or Okoye,
Okoye,
yeah.
you just have Hexfield, or not Hexfield. You just have curses going off.
Yeah.
Eventually, you do run out of offensive characters your opponent brought to curse.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, but at that point, they're all cursed.
Yeah,
you're
and
just
then
like
you're just going, hey, Kami Kami Ha.
So yeah.
Bop.
All right, that's Scarlet Witch. Thank you guys for watching. We want to mention once again that on next month, on the 21st and 22nd of August, we will be doing Extra Life. We'll be streaming for 24 hours and playing a ton of board games. Please come watch us on twitch.tv/BeerThralls. And it will also have a link to our Extra Life page on that page. So thank you guys once again for watching, and game off.
Game off.
Bye.